What's going on, everyone? Anthony Drew Gary here, host of The How To Show, where we talk about optimizing life, money, and happiness one how-to at a time. This episode of the show will come out the first week in March, and so during the January to April window, people are thinking about their taxes in a lot of different ways, and I am not a tax professional, however, I am a taxpayer, and so based on that sort of scenario, I can talk intelligently about a couple of these things. So I want to spend some time this week talking about the 529 accounts that are used to help people save for college, and how you can get some benefit out of those through either a state tax deduction or a state tax credit, and whether or not you've looked at this in the past for kids as they're growing up, or if you're looking at it now for the very first time. Either way, there's a good shot that you can get some advantage out of this, and so I want to bring it to your attention. I'll specifically talk about a lot of things set up in Indiana because that's the state I'm in. However, a lot of other states operate this in the same sort of way. And so what I really want to do is talk about how the system works in such a way that it can help you if you're starting to save right now for maybe a child that's really young, or you're in a scenario where you're helping a young adult pay for college, or even if you're going back to college as an adult and paying for it yourself. The 529 account can benefit each one of these types of individuals. So let's take a little bit of a breakdown of what the benefit is. When you contribute to a 529 account, the money goes into an account that is earmarked for education expenses. And so the money that's in that account, you have the ability to just leave it sitting in cash, or you can put it into investments and hopefully it grows over time. And as long as you use those dollars for educational expenses that are qualified under the rules, you can get them out without paying any taxes on them. But that's not what we're going to talk about for the purposes of this video. We're going to talk about the benefit that you get for contributing to one of those plans in the first place. And so again, in the state of Indiana, if you contribute to a 529 account, you get a state tax credit. And it varies depending on how much you put in, but at the very maximum for each year, if you contribute $5,000, you get a 20% credit. So basically 20% of that $5,000 is $1,000 as a credit to your Indiana taxes. So if you put in 5, you get 1. If you put in 1, you get 200, and any sort of graduated combination between basically 0 and 5,000. So practically, what does that mean? You have the ability to get yourself a scenario where you can wipe away $1,000 worth of Indiana taxes that you would have to pay on your state income tax returns. So let's play the scenario out. If you found yourself in a situation where you owed the state of Indiana $1,000 in state taxes, and you contributed to a 529 account in the full amount for $5,000, that would be a dollar for dollar match. That credit would wipe away the amount that you would owe, and so you would end up paying no state taxes for Indiana because you contributed to the 529. You took advantage of that state credit. So swing this around, make it sound a little better in this situation. What if you had a situation where you owed nothing to the state of Indiana, but you still contributed that $5,000 to a 529 account? It would still be a dollar for dollar match, except for the reality of the credit is that you don't have any credit, you don't have any balance to use that credit on, and so you would get a refund of $1,000 because you put in $5,000, you got the $1,000 state tax credit from it. You don't have any state taxes to offset, so that you get that benefit of $1,000 in the form of a refund there. And so this starts to be powerful because, again, it can help different people in different scenarios of their life. And so if you're in a scenario where you have young children and you're trying to save for their college, this is a good way to do it. You can get the state tax benefit from it, and you can also throw that money in hoping it grows over time. But let's talk about it a little more in the sense that maybe you're somebody like me. I'm in my early 30s and I'm still working on trying to knock out a piece of my my educational aspirations. I too can use the state tax credit through the 529 account to my advantage. And so the way that I've been doing this, and I feel comfortable talking about my own situation here because this is something that I've done, it's been beneficial. So instead of me paying my tuition directly to the university when it's due, I take that money first and I stick it into a 529 account. And I stick it into just cash equivalent within the account so that it doesn't have any market fluctuations. If the stock market tanks or anything, I don't lose my money because it's not in the market, it's just in the account. And so I stick it in there, I leave it in there for like a week or so, and then I request to withdraw that money because I'm going to use it to pay my tuition bill. So I am putting the money in, I'm making a contribution to my 529 account, I'm pulling the money back out, I'm using it to pay my tuition, and because it's going through that 529 cycle, you're getting the benefit of the state tax credit. And so theoretically, if you think about this in a different sort of way, for every $5,000 worth of tuition I pay, the government or the state of Indiana is kicking me back $1,000 in the form of a state tax credit. So, in a scenario where you pay $5,000 in tuition, in basic sense, the state of Indiana or whatever state you're in gives you some of that money back. It's kind of like getting a scholarship based on the way that they've written their tax incentives. And so I just wanted to draw some attention to that concept. And so we know that the benefits of a 529 are strong for those who have young children or those who are trying to save over a long horizon. But a 529 account can be beneficial to people that are older as well. And either paying their own way, or maybe you're a parent paying for some of your adult college, your adult children's college, one of those different scenarios. So just wanted to bring some light to the situation that you don't have to have children that are 2, 3, 4, or 5 years old to get benefit of the 529. I'm 31 years old getting benefit out of it for myself. So just want to share some insight on that and talk about it so that you can know about it as well. Again, the rules on 529 accounts are state specific. I'm going to have a link to a good blog post that I found about this that'll show you what it looks like for your state if you are not in Indiana. But there's a good chance that there's some state benefit for your state for saving for college along these lines, and I welcome you to take advantage of it because it's out there for the taking. That is going to bring this episode of the show to a close. Hopefully you can use the 529 tax savings to your advantage, and if it makes sense for your situation, check it out. Again, I'm not a tax professional, so if you have any specific questions to your specific tax situation, I recommend you get in touch with a tax professional so that you can ask those questions. And if you got any value out of the show or it got you thinking about something, I would ask you to hit the like button so that the YouTube algorithm knows that this is a video that other people should be watching as well. And if you're getting any value from the show overall, feel free to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be the first to know about new videos as they come out. And if you check the podcast out as well, it's found in the podcast player of your choice. Just search for The How To Show or Anthony Drew Gary. You'll find it either way. If that's the better way to get content to you or to people that you care about, you can share the video or share the podcast with them. Either way works great. If you've got any feedback for this episode or have any ideas for future topics on the show, leave me a comment and I'll engage with you there. Or if you learned something and you're excited about it, leave me a comment about that too, because I love listening to that kind of stuff. Until next week, this is Anthony Drew Gary, host of The How To Show, signing off.